It's that time with the Christmas patch coming up. The highly anticipated Steel Wool event is coming to World of Warships. So today we're going to be going over what is worth getting in the Steel Wool event. We have 6 ships to be going over. We're going to go over the Aki, the Hawaii, the I-5644, the Bremen, the Havre, and the Valparaiso. So I'll be going over all the ships and their builds as well. So you guys can look in the description for the timestamps if you're looking for any particular ships. But let's get started. Before we do that, though, we do need to look at the event itself so you guys can get a background on how much everything costs and the event itself. So for the steel event, as you can see in the top left, here are all the prices of all the ships and the event itself. So how it works is that these ships are going to be available for steel bundles. So for example, the Aki is 39,000 steel, the Bremen is 39,000, Hawaii is 39, I-5644 is 35, the Harvey is 25, and the Valparaiso is 30,000 steel. Now, in these bundles, you get the Made of Steel permanent camouflage, as well as the Silver Ray Destruction effect, which each of these bundles. Now, in this particular bundle, the Steel Wool event itself, you're not able to use the regular coupon that is inside of the armory itself. No. So you do get a special coupon that is for the event itself for 15% off one ship. So you only get that on one of the ships. So do choose carefully on which coupon you are going to use that to. But just for a tip, I would say use it on one of the higher prices ships like the Aki or Bremen, where it's worth 39,000, or the Hawaii, of course, or 49,000 steel. So let's get started. So the first ship we're going to be looking at and talking about is going to be the Aki. So you can see on the top left is the Aki's price. I'll have that during each of the ships. Also, it does say look at the dev blog. Now, that's because as of now, they are buffing the planes. So they are getting more planes in the squadrons so that there are more, it's more likely to hit its targets. So let's take a look at the Aki itself. So as you can see, the Aki is essentially a Yamato clone, but instead of having a rear turret, it is a hybrid instead. It has the exact same armor as the Yamato. So exactly same thing, so I'm not going to be going over that. Instead of 9 guns, it does have 6 guns. It does have a slightly better dispersion due to having 6 guns instead of the 9. But mainly this playstyle, this ship is going to be a bow-in sitting battleship where you're going to be sitting back on like the 1 line or the 10 line on the flanks or in the middle, where you're going to be spamming AP most of the match. You're not going to be shooting HE, you're going to be shooting AP. The anti-air on this ship is actually pretty nice too, with 9 flax and okay anti-air as well. So way better than the Yamato, surprisingly. And for the artillery itself, it's essentially Yamato guns, but slightly better dispersion overall. So do I think the Aki's worth it? Like if you like hybrids and you like playing in a bow win position at the 1 line or 10 line, then sure. I definitely think that the Aki is worth it if you do enjoy hybrids. Again, the armor is exactly the same as the Yamatos if you have not seen, so it does have the weak spot of the Yamato on the cheeks, so you do have to be careful of that whenever you are playing this ship. Now, for the builds for the Aki, I will show that real quick. Essentially, the build of the Aki is going to be essentially a battleship build, except instead of building in the 4th slot for propulsion, you can build into the air modifications that gives you your planes more HP, makes them prepare slightly faster, and a faster squadron speed for your planes. And this makes your overall reload of the planes from 200 seconds down to 171 seconds. So with this build, you save about 29 seconds, which overall gives you an extra squadron near the end of the match, which is really useful. For the build here, you're going to be going, it's going to be a little bit different. So I would go with gun feeder first. Then you're going to do grease the gears. After that, I would then do the adrenaline rush. And then I would do fire prevention. Then I would do the emergency repair expert. Then I would do the focus fire training. And then the improved repair party. So that's the build I would do in that order. And of course, the 10-point build would be this one. And then finally, the last one will be preventative maintenance. Sorry, my bad. So it'd be this one, this one, this one, and then this one. So that'll be your 10-point build. Then you'll be going over, this is your 14-point, then your 17 point, then your 20 point, and then your 21 point will be right there for a 21 point build. The reason why you're taking focus fire training is not for the anti-air, it's because it makes your aircraft preparation time 10% faster, which allows you to get more of those hybrid planes up. Because if you are getting the Aki, it's mainly because you like hybrids, and I know that. So if you're getting the Aki, it's for those hybrids, and you want to fly those planes. So that's the build I recommend for the Aki. So that's going to be the Aki. Moving on from the Aki, we're going to be talking about the Hawaii. And I did change the price there. All right, so this is the Hawaii. Oh, yeah. So here is the Hawaii right here. Very interesting gun layout. Yeah, this thing is going to be a DPM machine. We have a lot to talk about the Hawaii. As you can see, the price of the Hawaii is 39,000 steel, and of course you are able to use that coupon on this ship, and same with the Aki. You can only use it once though, so do be careful on what you use it for. So the hull is a 27 millimeter bow in aft, with a armor deck of 36 millimeters and a 27 millimeter little helipad there with 27 millimeters, and superstructure is 16. You do get the Citadel. Sorry, the Citadel is about waterline, so a little bit difficult to Citadel, but do be careful though. Your side is 229 and 178, so do be wary of that. So survivability, you get 74,700 HP, which is good HP with 13% torpedo protection. For the artillery, you get 24 127 millimeter guns. You get a lot of DPM with a 5.3 second reload with this build. And you do get, with this particular ship, you do get 2 firing modes. You get the regular, which is right now, but when you click the F key, it reduces your fire chance, and it also makes sure you have a faster reload. So it goes from a 5.3 reload down to a 3-second reload. It also reduces your range to 12.5 instead of the standard 18.3. Essentially, this modified shells, it makes it where the shells are going to be slower. You're going to be doing less damage with the AP, less fire chance. Overall, this means that you are using this mode when you are close to somebody, like within 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers, such like that, right? And that perfectly matches its surveillance radar that has an 8.5 kilometer radar, and it goes to all the way to 44 seconds, which is a really long radar. And you have a Hydra, which is down to 5 kilometers with 110 action time, and you get a heal as well. So overall, the playstyle of this ship is meant to be more, at first you can do longer distance, like maybe like 15 or so kilometers with the regular guns, like the regular ammo. But whenever you are able to push in, be a little bit more aggressive, you then switch to that F key to get really close range. You start just docking the living crap out of anyone that close to you. So that's how the playstyle of the Hawaii is going to be. Anti-air is really good on the Hawaii as well. You do get aerial ASW, which is nice. 34.7 knot speed, and concealment is 12.2 for the Hawaii. But overall, that is the Hawaii. It does look amazing, really well done. So let's go over that build. For the build itself, I would say is a main armament for the first slot. Second is going to be DCP. Third is going to be aiming. Fourth is going to be propulsion. Fifth is concealment, and 6 is reload. So this build is just for survivability and for the reload of the guns. You don't need to build into range. Just build into this and you'll be fine. And the reason why I don't take Hydro on this slot is that it is because you take Hydro or radar. Radar is already long enough, and you're going to be open watering or being spotted a lot. So having a reduced fire chance is going to be way more helpful than a longer Hydro. So for the build here, for the 10-point build, I would suggest the following. So you do consumable specialist first to reduce the reload. Next is going to be the consumable enhancement to increase the timer or how long your consumables are active. After that, I'm going to do superintendent, so you get extra heals, radars, and hydro. After that, you're going to do concealment, and that's going to be your 10-point build. After that, it's going to be the 14-point build, which is going to be top grade gunner. Then I would personally do adrenaline rush. But if you want to do the heavy HE, which essentially gives you a free 10% buff to your HE damage, since the shells are 127 millimeters, they don't affect your concealment, so you are able to do that. So I'll do Adrenaline Rush first, which is going to be your 17 point. Then 20 points going to be this. And then the final one would be Incoming Fire Alert. And with all this, your concealment goes down to 12.2 kilometers. So overall, would I recommend the Hawaii? If you like a more of a high DPM farming heavy cruiser kind, like essentially it's a heavy cruiser with light cruiser guns. If you're looking for that kind of play style, I'd highly recommend the Hawaii. It's a lot of fun to play if you like that more closer style, like brawling with the fast firing guns play style. So that's what I would recommend for the Hawaii. So moving on from the Hawaii, let's talk about the I-56. So the I-56-44, which is the clone of the I-56, as you can see here. This is the tier 10 version. It does get sap guns on this thing as well. It does look pretty nice, pretty nice. Now, this thing has a lot of differences compared to its cousin, the regular I-56. It is also tier 10 as well. It does get HE, and it does get a reload booster as well. And the guns do have a 2-second reload, and you can get that. It's essentially a second reload, so you get 8-second duration as well. So you are able to gun a little bit with the I-56, but with this ship, it does have a terrible concealment of 7.1 kilometers. But the main specialty are these torpedoes. You do get 15-kilometer torpedoes on this thing. And you get 6 of them, and they're all facing off of the bow. They do 27,600 damage, and they have an 82 knot speed when you build into them all the way. Now, as you can see at the very bottom, there is his maximum damage threshold. That maximum damage threshold means that the maximum damage doesn't start until after then. So as it's traveling outwards, the damage goes up, 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 up until it reaches that 12 kilometers, and it does maximum damage from then on out until 15 kilometers. The sonar is only, it is 8.5 kilometers. So that means that you are not using your sonar down to 15 kilometers. It's only to 8.5. So essentially what this playstyle means is that you're going to be sitting on the 1 line or the 10 line, and you're just launching torpedo salvos after torpedo salvos, just reversing or going forward with needed. And this reload is also 38.3 seconds for the torpedoes, which is a really fast reload, like really fast. The ship does come with damage control party, hydrophone, and the submarine surveillance, which is 6 kilometers, which is nice, and it comes with reserve battery. But its side capacity is only 94.5 seconds, not very long at all. So essentially what this ship is that it's essentially a destroyer that can sink itself for maybe a minute and a half or so, and then it can go back on the surface and use its guns to have a little fun or something before it blows up. But essentially, you're just going to be a nuisance, a flank blocker, spamming the flanks with torpedoes over and over and over again until you kill someone or knock them out. And if anyone starts pushing you where you have to use your sonar, then you can do that, use that. But all the torpedoes are facing off, so essentially you'll be sitting bow in, spamming torpedoes, and that's your whole thing. You're not pushing in, you're not being aggressive, you're sitting on a flank really far back, and you're just farming, and you're doing it over and over and over and over again. So the I-56 44 is going to be costing 35,000 steel. So if you're interested in submarines, this is going to be the one I would recommend for you if you are wanting a submarine. For the build itself, I would build a DCP to make that timer from 15 to 21 seconds. Then I would do engine room protection. After that, torpedo tubes to make your torpedoes faster. Propulsion modification to make your ship speed up, because this thing is very slow. It is a brick. Torpedo modifications to do more damage, and then torpedo tubes modification 2 for the torpedo reload. For the build itself, I have actually not looked at this one yet. So I would do hydrophone to be able to dive faster. Then I would do preventative maintenance. After that, I would do superintendent to get an extra DCP and reload booster. After that, I would do adrenaline rush, because you're not really that fast anyway. 31.5 maneuverability on the surface. Underwater, it is 13.6. I would do, yeah, you know what? You can use the enlarged propeller shaft, and the reason why I say that is because you have a underwater dive difficulty 94.5, right? Essentially, when you're below 50% of that, you can go 18% faster. So you can use that to kind of move a little bit faster so that you just dive down to periscope, waste a little bit of the battery, and then you can get this large propeller going, and then you can go back on the surface and keep going on your way, because you don't slow down at periscope or the surface. You slow down when you're at 30 meters and below. So I'll do a large propeller first, then I would do the adrenaline rush. If you don't want to take this, that's okay, but of course the watchful is going to be very important as well. That's going to be for your 17 point. For your 20 point is going to be the consumable specialist. And then after that, extra flooding. Yeah, extra flooding would be nice. So yeah, that's going to be your build for the I-5644. Now, if you want to build these ones in different orders, you can. I would rather just have the superintendent for, because essentially, right, if someone is getting that close to you where you're being hydroed or radared, you're going to be in trouble anyway, right? You're going to be in a lot of trouble. You know what? No. Okay, we're just gonna do this again. Okay, watchful first, enlarge propeller, adrenaline rush, superintendent, this, and then this. Because you can use the periscope. You can be at periscope, keep yourself batteried, and then do it that way. And then if somebody radars, you can see if they're spotting you, and then you can surface after it's done. So watchful first, and then the other ones. Okay, so watchful first. So you do the helmsman, preventative maintenance, watchful, enlarged, adrenaline rush, superintendent, and consumable specialist, and then flooding. So that would be the build for the I-54. Sorry about getting a little bit confused there. I got a little bit confused. But so that is the I-5644. So moving on from the I-5644, we're going to be moving on to the next ship, which is going to be the Bremen. All right. So the Bremen, as you can see at the top left of the screen, is going to be costing 39,000 steel. All right. So this bad boy has 1,650 millimeter guns with a 4.7 second reload and 18.1 kilometer range. So let's take a look at the Bremen. Ooh, that looks pretty nice. Essentially, it looks like a tier 10 mines. So if you enjoy the mines, I feel like you're really going to enjoy this ship. Oh yeah, it looks really good. Beautiful models. Art department always does amazing. So does the shipbuilders of the game with these models that they do. All right, so the ship's armor right here is 25 millimeter on the bow with an armor section of 40 millimeters. Little protection right here of 130. Rear is going to be the same as, it's going to be it's going to be heavier on the rear with 90 right here and 130 here. So a little bit heavier on the rear with 25 millimeter aft. Deck armor is going to be 30 millimeters, same with the side plating here. Let's look at that citadel. So it does get the German turtleback, which will help it at shorter distance not to get citadeled. But at longer distances, we all know how the German turtleback is for these cruisers. It essentially will be a shell catcher, and it will lead to you getting more citadeled, which is not fun at all. So that is going to be the armor of the Bremen. So you guys can take a look at that again. After right here is 130 right here with the rear, and the front is going to be 130 and 40 right here as well. So that is going to be the armor. For survivability, you have 59,000 HP, which is a lot of HP for a cruiser. 16% torpedo protection as well. For the shells, they do a lot of damage with the HE with 1,700 HE with the 10% fire chance and a 38 millimeter of pen, which means you do not have to build into IFHE. You do not have to, which is amazing. It allows you to be able to do pen damage while starting a lot of fires, which is amazing. Secondaries, do not build into secondaries, please. Please do not. Yeah, please don't. For torpedoes, you get 12 kilometer torpedoes, by the way. Amazing torpedoes with 20 of them in total, with yeah, 20 of them in total, with 10 per side. That is a lot of torpedoes on this thing, a lot of them. And they hit about an average 16,000 with the 50 knot speed. Essentially, they're like black torps, so they're like sea mines. Nobody will expect them coming, and when they do hit, it will hurt. Anti-air is 6 kilometers, six flax. Anti-air is okay. It's all right. It's not the worst, not the best. It's good. It's good. Maneuverability 34.1 knots, which is okay for a cruiser. It's pretty okay. 849 turn radius is okay with 11.6 second rudder shift with a concealment of 13.1 kilometers. Now, this playstyle, this ship is, like I said, it's going to be essentially a tier 10 of the mines. It is going to be an HE spamming long distance farmer. You aren't going to want to get close. You're going to want to stay long distance spamming HE at your targets just over and over and over again, starting fires, burning them, doing damage. It doesn't matter what it is. This thing's going to pen it, and it's going to do a lot of damage. You can use AP on broadside targets that are showing broadside, maybe like at 10 or 11 kilometers or so, or 12s. Probably around 11 or 10 kilometers would be good points to start using AP at broadsides. But I mean, for that upper deck, like aim over like up here, like at this upper deck area, and not at the citadel, because you're not going to pin the citadel, but you will definitely do damage to the upper deck and the superstructure with the AP. So I would recommend that for this play style. For the equipment, I did main armament with the DCP, since you'll be spotted a lot while you're shooting. Aiming systems, propulsion for dodging, concealment, and reload. For the consumables, you do get a DCP, which is, you know, of course, nice. You get a heal. You can pick between a Hydro and a DFA. Of course, I'm going to be picking Hydro. And then you'll have a choice of doing a spotting plane and a fighter. This will be up to you. Also, with the introduction, the fact that in January, they are making it where fighters will no longer be spotting, but they are going to be making it where fighters are going to be more effective against the Dutch bombers. So I would definitely be like, oh yeah, don't just dismiss surface ship fighters, because they're going to make it where they can go after the Dutch bombers a lot easier, which is absolutely amazing. So I cannot wait for that. So the build for the Bremen I have right here. So let's take a look at this. So first I would do the consumable specialist, then the demolition expert to get that extra fire chance. Then I would do, you can do survivability expert first or superintendent. I would personally do superintendent first to get extra heal. Then I would do concealment. Then I would do top grade gunner. After that, I would then do either one or the other, depending upon which one you picked. And then I would do adrenaline rush. And then I would do the grease the gears. I want the consumable specialist faster so I can get my Hydro back sooner, as well as my spotter plane, and that's the reason why. The turret traverse goes down to 23.7 seconds with this build, which is why I'd recommend this one. But that's the build for the Bremen. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this so far. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know in the comments down below. But again, hopefully this information is helping you guys. So moving on to the next one, because we do have 2 more left to go over. We have the La Havre. All right, so switching that over there. So the La Havre is essentially the tier. It's essentially a Brest, but they buffed the secondaries to like just skyrocket them to god tier hood. For the armor, again, 25 millimeters, essentially a Brest. So if you know what the Brest is, okay, I know you guys are gonna do a lot of jokes about this, but you guys know how the feeling of the Brest is, or how the model is, right? So that's essentially what's gonna be. Same citadel, same armor. It's gonna be the same as the Brest. So if you want to take a look at that in the texture, you can, but it's essentially the same. So let's take a look at the ship itself. So this is the Havre. Those are the secondaries there. Gorgeous, by the way. All right, so this ship is going to be a potential ship you're going to be seeing in clan battles. In the upcoming clan battles this season, it's going to be starting in December for the tier 9. This ship is going to be a secondary contender since, yeah, it's a lot of secondary ships are going to be used in that tier 9 clan battle season. So this ship is going to be one of the ships that are possibly going to be played. For survivability, you have 55,300 HP with a 19% torpedo protection, which is, I like the torpedo protection, it's pretty nice. For the main guns, you have a 30-second reload, which is pretty slow, with a 18-second switching the ammo between them, with a 36-second turret traverse. 18.1 kilometer range with HE being 4,800 damage and the AP being 10,750. That's a lot of damage. A lot of damage. Now for the secondaries, they are 12 kilometer range with a 4.6 second reload, right? That is a lot of that's a lot. That's a pretty good reload, and the HE is also 2,000, so pretty good on that one, and it has a range of 12 kilometers. The ship has a 11.9 kilometer range for its concealment when fully built, which means if this thing is spotted, it can shoot its secondaries, which is really deadly. Anti-air is okay. It's French. The maneuverability of 31.5 knots, a really tight turning radius, and a 13.2 second rudder shift. So, and you may think, oh, well, those are the secondaries. There's this base. Well, the Havre gets a combat instruction. So we'll go over that in a moment. It comes with a hydroacoustics or DFAA. The hydro is 5 kilometers, and the engine boost is 20%. So your maximum speed on this ship, when you fully build it, let me just do this real quick. Let's see. So maximum speed is going to be 33.1. And then 20% of the base. It's probably going to be about 39 knots max speed. And you have that for over 4 minutes. A really long engine boost. Really long. And you also get a repair party, which is nice as well. And it does have a reduced cooldown as well. As you can see, it has a 57-second cooldown instead of the standard 80 seconds, which is really nice as well. So with this combat instruction, which is the big thing, by the way, the big kicker, it has a 70% secondary reload boost buff, as well as a 60% secondary battery shell dispersion. So it makes the shells 60% more accurate with the secondaries, which is amazing. Then it has a plus 40% HE pen when this is active, and the action time is 50 seconds. 50 seconds. And how this is activated is by hitting enemy ships per shell is 10%. So essentially, in 2 salvos, because this thing has 8 guns, in 2 salvos, you could activate your combat instruction. And this is active for 50 seconds. That is, and the time before you start losing your progress is also 50 seconds. So you don't have to hit anybody for 50 seconds before it starts going down, but it's also can be active for 50 seconds. So that is an amazing combat instruction on this ship. So I can see why it's going to be potentially being used in clan battles, because that's a lot of DPM. Because on paper, you see this dispersion, 544 meters. That's not really good, right? Not that accurate. But then you add in that combat instruction, that faster reload, the extra pen, because the HE pen is 23. You boost that by 40% and make that reload 70% faster. You're going to have machine guns that can pen pretty much every piece of armor, except of course the heaviest armor, like battleship armor, right? But it can pen superstructures, bows, afts, decks. It's going to be able to pen so much. It's going to do so much damage. So if you want a more aggressive playstyle, more secondary style playstyle for a cruiser where you can sit bow in, or you can have your side showing, of course you're going to have to show a little bit of side to get these secondaries off, or turning around or doing that, whatever, get the secondaries off. But if you want to do that, then definitely worth it. So the Havre, it is worth 25,000 steel, and again, you can use the coupon on it if you are interested in that. So the build itself is going to be a main armament for the first one, because since you only have 2 guns, it's definitely worth that. Engine boost makes your engine boost longer, definitely important. Secondary, of course, to make your secondaries more accurate and a better firing range. Propulsion, now I see more. Concealment, better concealment, and then the secondaries. For the commander itself, I'm going to do, so for this recommendation, I would say do consumable specialist first, so faster reload for the consumables. Consumable enhancement, longer consumables, of course. After that, like, if you want to just do this right away, if you have only a 10-point commander, right, I would say do the Pack-a-Punch first to get the secondary range longer first, and then do the concealment, then do the top grade gunner, and then do superintendent, and then the adrenaline rush. Because if you try to play this ship without that extra range, it's going to be really, really painful. So normally I don't recommend that way. Normally I would recommend superintendent first, but for this ship, for your 10-point build, I'd recommend doing this one first, then consumable enhancement, then the pack-a-punch, then concealment. For your 14-point, then I'd recommend top grade, which buffs your main battery and your secondary when someone's within your that's spotted within your concealment. And of course, this thing has an 11.9 kilometer concealment. So secondaries being 12s, you're instantly going to be able to get a faster reload for your secondaries and your main battery. So amazing. Then after that, I would reduce superintendent, which will be your 17-point. Adrenaline rush will be your 20. And then the final one is going to be gun feeder, and that's going to be the build I recommend. Now, the reason why I recommend doing the consumable first is to be able to get that engine boost back faster, which is going to be really important, because if you don't, you're going to be way slower, as well as getting that hydro back faster. So it's going to be way more aggressive in this ship. Now, if you want to do gun feeder first, you can, either one way or the other, but that's what I would recommend for this ship for that build. Now, moving on to the final ship, which everyone has been talking about, is going to be the Valparaiso. Oh boy, everyone has been talking about this ship. They've been talking about how it's going to get nerfed, and everyone's been rumoring about it, and like, oh my god, it's going to be everywhere. So you're going to be able to get the Valparaiso for 30,000 steel. Oh boy, what to talk about for the Valparaiso. There is a lot. So this is the Valparaiso. If you have not seen it before, this is a tier 9 Pan-American battleship, as you can see here. Now, this ship is the model of the Vanguard. So if you know what the Vanguard is, being the tier 8 battleship of the British. All right, so this ship, it doesn't, like, on paper, it doesn't look the best, but like, I'll show the armor real quick. So armor is 32, 64 at the armored, side is 356, deck is 40 millis here. Now, looking at the armor, it's good. It's all right armor. It's all right. But if you show your side, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. I'm going to take a look at that at the moment. But yeah, as you can see here, Citadel is slightly above water, which means that you will be taking a lot of citadels if you show broadside. So do not do that, or you will suffer. So yeah, definitely do not do that. So, all right, so HP is 75,200 and 32% torpedo protection. And that's with the build, of course, and a 25-second reload for the guns, and it has only AP, by the way, only AP, with a 12,500 damage for the guns. For the AP secondaries, they are 12 kilometers, because you do build into guns on this thing, and my build does not include concealment, and I'm going to explain why. For the commander, it does not, but you'll see why in a moment. And you have a 31.5 knot speed, with an 850 meter turning radius, with a 7.8 second rudder shift. All right, so let's take a look at the equipment real quick. All right, so this ship also gets the British acceleration, by the way, and that's why you're not able to build into propulsion. You can only build into steering gears. Okay. Now, for the build, of course, you do main armament, then you do DCP for a less fire chance, with the secondary battery to get the longer range and better dispersion, then the steering gears, since that's the best option. Of course, then you do get concealment, and then you get the auxiliary armament for the secondaries. Now, this ship, right now, it has one of the best heals in the game. It heals a massive amount of citadel damage, way higher than any of the other ships. So even if you get citadel torpedoes, you're still able to heal back a lot. So essentially, this thing is meant to be a zombie ship. It's meant to take damage. It's meant to be in the front lines. You're meant to W win and just never die. The Valparaiso is definitely one of the highest ships that people want in this event. And I can see why, because I played all the time in ranks or in randoms, and it's just so much fun just to W in and just do whatever you want. And the main reason why it's so easy is because of this combat instruction right here. When it's active for 5 seconds, you get a 95% action time reduced for the reload time for the consumables, which means you get your heal back. Even though it says 80 seconds, you get it back in like 5 seconds. And this thing, when you have it fully built for heals, it goes to about 20,000-ish HP per heal, right? And then the DCP, which is a cooldown of 80 seconds, you can get that too instantly. So essentially, you can get your heal back instantly, and you can get back your damage control party instantly, which means you're not going to be, even if you sit on fire, you can instantly put it out. If you get flooded, you can instantly put it out. And then if you top that on top with a Zboa, which makes it where when you activate the consumables, the combat instruction twice, you go faster and you get 20% progress for the combat instruction, which is even better. And then on top of that, with the relentless firing, you get a 5% reload boost, 10% torpedo boost, which it doesn't have, and a 22.5 second secondary battery reload time. This is not hard to get at all on the Valparaiso either. So with this captain, it is insanely good. Insanely good. And when you have all the heals put together, this thing can almost tank as much as a Conqueror. He heals about 2 in total. If you use all the heals maximum, and that includes the improved readiness heal, which you get the extra of, you heal about 240 to 250,000. Sorry, that's the total HP you have at play. 240 to 250,000 HP. You heard that right. 240 to 250,000 HP that this ship has, as long as you're using all the heals maximum, and then you're also, you're using all the heals maximum, as well as you have the extra heal from the improved party readiness, which I'll be talking about in a moment. And yeah, that is absolutely insane. It is almost unkillable. The only way to kill it is to essentially kill it before it heals. You just have to nuke it. So you dev strike it with torpedoes, or you nuke it by citadeling to death, because this thing is easy to citadel. So the main play style of this ship is Wing in, showing either just sitting perfectly bow into somewhere the secondaries are going off, or showing a little bit of the side where only the front secondaries are going off, because if 3 secondaries can go off, that means if you're not careful, you could be citadeled. If you have 4 secondaries going off, like all 4 guns, that means you can definitely be citadeled. So always try to keep 2 secondaries active on each side, of course. So 2 over here, like angled there or here. So always keep 2. Also, you do have a citadelable butt right here, it being flat. So be wary of that when you are running away. So try to be a little bit angled so it's harder for them to get the shell up your bum to be able to citadel. So be wary of that. But no, Valparaiso is an absolute menace, and the build I'm going to show you is going to help you with that as well. So as I already went over this right here, so that is the build. So for the commander, this is going to be the build that I use. You don't have to use this, but this is the build I recommend. I do preventative maintenance. I then do vigilance. After that, I would do the long range secondaries, and then I would do the manual secondaries, right, to get your secondaries, because the main thing about the combat instruction is that it is required that you get secondary hits or a kill. So per secondary hit, you get 8% progress to your combat instruction, right? So if you don't get secondary hits, you aren't activating your combat instruction, and of course you need that combat instruction. So I'd highly recommend building into that first. And if you do get a kill, it instantly makes it where you can use your combat instruction. So your 10-point build is going to be the preventive maintenance, vigilance, long range secondary battery, manual secondaries of your 10-point build. After that, it is then going to be emergency repair expert. Now, this is the part where people can go either way, right? You can either not take emergency repair expert and take concealment instead, because again, you have a 14-kilometer range, right? So you have a 2-kilometer range difference from your secondaries to your concealment. So some people don't like having it that way, and they'd rather have the concealment and not the emergency repair expert itself. Now, that does make it where you have 1 less heal, or you can do it this way, where instead of having the improved repair party and the fire one here, you can take concealment instead. So you can do this build instead. So I'll show you guys real quick. So you can do it like this. So you can do it like this. Like this way, right? You can do it like this. So instead of taking Adrenaline Rush and having it this and that, you can do it like this. So for your 10-point build, you would do this. Then you could do a 14-point build here, or you can do a 14-point build here. Then you could do the 18-point with the emergency, and then you could do either if you want improved for the extra heal, or you want this for Adrenaline Rush. That's up to you. But I think Adrenaline Rush is a must-have. And also, if you do build in concealment, I would recommend you do the Brisk as well, since this commander does give you that as well. So this would be the build I would recommend. So you do it like this, and then you do the heal, and then you do the, you can either do Adrenaline Rush, or you can do the Prayer Party, depending upon your preference. Essentially, if you're getting full uses out of all of your heals every time, then I'd recommend the Improved Repair Party, right? If you don't, then I would take Adrenaline Rush, and that's how I'm going to put it. I'm able to maximize all of my heals every time, no matter what. So the build that I was just using is for me in ranked. Outside of ranked, it's probably going to be better to take concealment, but in ranked, you don't need concealment, so you can run something like this. But for randoms or for clan battles, you're most likely going to want to take something more like with concealment. So you can either do this with Adrenaline Rush, or you can do this. It's going to be up to you. It's going to be a personal preference. I like the Adrenaline Rush because the fact your health is going to be going up and down so many times that you'll be getting a lot of boost for your secondaries and your main gun reload while this is going on. So your health is going to drop, you heal back up, it's going to drop, you can shoot or whatever, and then it's going to go back up. It's going to be happening over and over and over and over again. So I would recommend that if you are newer. If you're not, then you can try the build I'm doing. Again, you can experiment. Oh, crap. My bad. You can experiment on what you are wanting and seeing what you're wanting to do. But that's what I'm trying to do. Also, I did Fire Chance because a lot of your damage is coming from burning your enemy. The guns, like the main guns don't do as well, and the secondaries, they do really good against destroyers and like cruisers, but against heavier targets, you're gonna do some pen damage on the superstructure and superstructure, but your main thing is just starting fires. So you're gonna be building into fires and the flags, you're building everywhere you can, but that's what I'd recommend for this ship, right? Anti-air is okay, airstrike is fine. But anyway, that is going to be it. Again, I'll show you guys the point total. But overall, like if you're going to ask me what ships are the most worth it, right? Like as like a final. All right, so we went over every ship, right? What ships do I think are really worth it? All right. So for me, from like as in like, it's going to be really hard for people to pick which ones they want. A lot of these ships are really good. Essentially, the Harvey for clan battles. If you play clan battles, the Harvey will be really good, right? But if you don't play clan battles, probably not as much. Oh, sorry. Valp is also going to be in clan battles. Oh, sorry. My game just crashed. Okay, cool. Thank you, World of Warships, for that. Give me one moment, guys. My game crashed. I don't know why, but it just randomly crashed. All right. Anyway. Okay, game's loading back up. Cool. Anyway, so the Harvey is potentially for clan battles. It's used there. We all know that the Valp is going to be used in clan battles. 1000% it's going to be in clan battles. If it's going to get banned is the question. I don't know. But it's definitely going to be useful in there. It's also going to be useful in ranked or randoms. It's just overall one of the most powerful ships in the game, tier for tier. It's just absolutely broken. The Valparaiso is. So I definitely recommend that. Valparaiso I'd recommend everywhere. Just everywhere. The Harvey, it can do well in ranked, and it can do well in it's definitely going to be used in clan battles. So if you're interested in clan battles, then the Harvey's going to be used. All right, so for the Hawaii, Okay, my game crashed again. Okay. I don't know why. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so, yeah, write in the comments crash number 2 if you guys are still with me at this point, because I know this is a longer video. So, crash number 2. Is the game gonna crash again? This is really weird. Normally, I don't have the game crash this much. This is really weird. All right, so next ship is going to be the Hawaii, right? So for the Hawaii, if you want a more high DPM heavy cruiser that essentially has light cruiser guns with a heavy cruiser hull, right? With the what else does it have? It has the F key to make the shells faster reload for shorter range to do more DPM that way. Then I would recommend the Hawaii if you want a more closer range brawler with the guns and no torpedoes. Also, the fact is, if you catch any destroyer inside of 8.5 kilometers with that radar, they are essentially dead. Any destroyer in that range, they're dead. They're not living. They will be suffering. There is no living at all during that. They will be dead. So if you want that, then I'll definitely recommend the Hawaii. For the Bremen, essentially, if you like long-range HE throwers, like the mines, then you're definitely going to want the Bremen. Overall, Bremen, Hawaii, the Havre, Valparaiso are all very good ships. All of these ships in this steel event are amazing, and they're really fun to play. It depends on your playstyle. If you want more of an HE thrower, long distance, putting out that really high DPM, farming targets, and just being absolute nuisance, then I'd recommend the Bremen. All right, so moving on from that is going to be the Aki. Would I recommend the Aki? If you like sitting bow in, if you're a bow-in Yamato player, right, and you know who I'm talking to, if you're a bow-in Yamato player, and I know I see you guys all the time, 1 line or 10 line, and you like just shooting AP and sitting bow-in all the time, you might as well just get the Aki, right? You might as well. And if you like hybrids, then, you know, it's just a plus at that point. But I know you Yamato players that just sit bow in, you don't turn at all, use the rear gun. No. You just sit perfectly bow in, and you just use your overmatch, and you laugh at other people not being able to overmatch you. So if you like sitting, you know, far back, spamming AP, and your ability to then use hybrids to mess with people, then I would definitely recommend the Aki, right? And of course, the planes, they are being buffed. So they're having 8 squadrons per squad and not 6. And the aircraft on deck is going to be 12. So you're able to store a squadron, which is also super nice. You can store a squadron. So even though you could just focus on your guns, and then you could store a squadron, and then if you want to use it, you can, and you can just wait. And so, all right, final ship is going to be the I-5644. If you like submarines and you're not really into the whole pinging, because you're not going to be using the ping that much, you're just going to, the sonar, I mean, you're not going to be trying to ping targets. You're going to be just sitting bow in and just launching torpedoes every 38 seconds, essentially, and you're just launching them over and over and over and over again, then I would recommend the I-56 if you like subs. All right, I don't like subs, so I don't know, but that's gonna be it. So that is my review of the Steel Will event. If you guys have any questions or concerns, let me know in the comments down below. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but I wanted to make sure I covered all the ships. If there's anything that I missed, please write them down in the comments down below. And yeah, let me know what you guys think and what ships you plan on getting. And I will see you guys in the next video. Deuces.